this review, I'm looking at the Catrice Primer and Finer Poreless and Blur Primer, as it claims that it will minimize the pores. It also says that it will give you a long-lasting and blurring effect. Now we are about to find out if those claims are true. Well, I'm also going to put a little demonstration in today's review. So my name is Melissa van Dijk, I'm a professional makeup artist, and let's get into it. Now, one thing I've noticed when it comes to looking at the reviews about the Catrice Primer is that most people complained about that it's being flaky. And now from my experience, I can say that they didn't really use a good moisturizer underneath, because if you are having the right moisturizer underneath, especially also for your skin type, and then apply it evenly and also give it some time to soak into the skin, and then using the primer on top, it won't do the flaky part. So as you can see, I've just applied a good moisturizer underneath where I know that I can trust it. Now give it 30 seconds at least to sink into your skin, and then we can move on to the primer. Now when it comes to the primer, I've also noticed that if you're using too much, then it also can flake. So it's a little bit more of a tricky primer, and also finding the right amount and moisturizer on how you can use it so that it won't happen. And as you can see, it's not going to flake on the back of my hand, as I use the correct moisturizer as well as also the correct amount so that I can blend it into the skin. And it also does reduce some wrinkles, like it's going to fill in the wrinkle part, and it gives it a smooth and even application. And now we can move on to the demonstration when it comes to the face area, so that you will see how it will look when I'm using the primer underneath the foundation and also without. Now I've applied already my moisturizer, so for the next step I'm going in with the Catrice Primer. And what I was planning on showing you is that I'm going to use the primer on one half of my face, and on the other side only the moisturizer, and then use the Bourjois CC cream on top, so that we can see if it does minimize pores, if it's going to give you that blur effect, and also if it's going to even out any fine lines. Even though I'm 24, I don't have wrinkles yet, but I still experience fine lines and pores, as this is quite normal if it comes to your face area. So especially towards the midsection, I do have larger pores, and this is also where we will see how it performs. Now let's start off with the application. Now let's have a look at first at my pores, as I believe it's important to see a close-up as well as a before, and then later on and after. And I focus mainly on my cheek and nose area, as I believe those are the largest pores that I have on my face, as the rest of my face is pretty dry. But now when it comes to applying the primer, first it's important that you're not using too much. Second, I've used it with my fingers, and when I'm going to apply it, I kind of pressed it into the skin when it comes to the cheek area mainly, as this is where I believe my pores are the largest. And then with the rest of the face, I just evenly blended it into the skin. And I have to say that it feels very comfortable, it's not going to itch or sting or whatever, and it gives me a very velvet-like finish, so it feels very soft and smooth. I would say that this primer is also perfect if you have textured skin, as it kind of fills in those strange bumps that you might have on your skin, and then it just will even out so that the skin base, so that you can apply the foundation later on beautifully on top. Now moving on to the CC foundation, whatever you want to apply as your base product, I'm not going too much into details when it comes to how you apply it with foundation. I mainly just want to show you how it will layer on top, and also that you will see the steps that I'm going through to make the primer also work, and also that it won't flake on my face. And I've also been pretty close with the application as well, so that you definitely can see how the texture will look with the side when it comes to the primer as well as without primer. Now I mainly have to say that I didn't really notice a difference when it comes to the way how it applies. So it didn't go quicker, it also didn't slow me down, which is basically just a normal application, and I didn't see a major benefit when it comes to the application. I just saw that because you might have textured skin, that it's going to give you a softer and more even finish, rather than having little bumps in your skin as well. But when it comes to if it's minimizing my pores, I personally didn't mainly see a huge difference. I just saw a difference when it comes to my texture on the skin, or how my skin is basically behaving. But I'm also going to share a close-up, and as I said, I don't really see a major difference. It did something, but not enough, like not what they are basically claiming. So you're not wrong with it if you're going to get it, but you can't expect a huge difference. Now, sadly, for today's review, and when it comes to the Catrice Primer, I can't really give you this one as a recommendation, as I believe that it doesn't really give you a major benefit. And also from my experience, as I've been testing it out for the last 2 weeks, I'm also better off with a good moisturizer underneath my foundation than also having an additional primer in between. So I mean, I see that it's going to smooth the texture, but like the main benefit that they are going to claim, also with the long-lasting effect and also with the minimizing pore claim, I don't see a difference. It's not really long lasting. I mean, my makeup lasts pretty much the whole day. I have no issues with it, but this also will work if I'm only using a moisturizer, so I don't really have to use a primer in between. And this one will cost you $80 which isn't like a lot of money, but still for what it says it should do, I'm not going to use it anymore. I just don't see why I would. And so this is why I also wouldn't recommend you this primer right here. If you could see in this video a major difference and you are happy with the result that you saw on my skin, then also, well, don't get me wrong, just go ahead and get it for yourself and see it also for yourself, but I just wouldn't recommend it just based on how I feel about the product itself. Now, with that being said, I still hope that you enjoyed the close-ups, also the demonstration and how I talked about the product and also showed you how you can use it the correct way. And if you did like this video, then also don't forget to give it a thumbs up and share it. And thank you so much for watching, and I will see you soon in the next one. Bye!